Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. It is 7:30 in the morning here in the UK with me, and it is, if I am not much mistaken, you're 11 hours ahead, aren't you, Laura? So it is 6:30 in the evening in Tasmania. And yes, welcome to this week's Gift of Healing TV with our guest, Laura Wishes, who I've just said is in Tasmania. So right across the other side of the world from myself. Let me briefly introduce Laura. Laura helps women who care deeply about the world and want to live lives of beauty and contribution beyond stress, despair, and overwhelm. She loves to help people remember love so that they can meet the challenges that life can bring, and in doing so, become more and more of who they truly are. She believes that this is the greatest gift we can offer, and that by returning to love, we can more truly make a difference. Laura has trained in breathwork, yoga, women's mysteries, bodywork, and energy work. She has also taught adult literacy, lived in remote Aboriginal communities, guided people through the mountains of Tasmania, been a whitewater rafting guide, and managed not-for-profits organisations. As I've just said, Lur lives in Tasmania, the heart-shaped island at the bottom of Australia, and enjoys wandering in the mountains near her home and singing whenever she can. Lur, welcome. Welcome to Gift of Healing TV.
Thank you, Sarah. It's lovely to be here.
Will you just share with us a little bit about how you got started with all of this, so people get a sort of a sense and a feel and get to really know with all of us that we don't start out, most of us, doing this?
Yeah, sure. I guess it really is about my spiritual journey and how that began. And I was just thinking about it this morning, and I don't actually ever remember a time when I wasn't curious, when I wasn't wondering or sensing some other kind of reality or way to be. And even from when I was a child, I used to dive. I remember trying to dive into this other thing that I could kind of intuit, but had no more idea than that. And then probably the next big thing was when I was 21, I had a big opening, a big sort of spiritual opening, although at the time it felt, I experienced it firstly as a major crisis, when so much emotion, so much intense energy came up for me. My whole world was changed very quickly, and at the time I didn't know people who talked about these kind of things. I didn't know people who had experience of transformation, or at least they hadn't spoken about it with me. And it was a really big time, but it was also the beginning. It felt like the beginning of life for me, a sort of a new life, and I came back alive was sort of the feeling I had. And so from that, like, my whole life changed. I was studying economics at the time, and I changed, and I started working in gardens, and I did all sorts of things. I started breathwork, which was the next biggest thing there. And I just started that as a client, rebirthing and breathwork. And then a few years after that, I took the next step, which was to do a breathwork training. And at the same time, I did a yoga teacher training and also energy work. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time. And I met lots of people who were like kindred spirits. Like, we kind of knew each other and had this sort of recognition, I guess, of each other's gifts and that level of support, which was fantastic. And then I worked. While I started working with people, and I've run groups for years, I've also done various jobs through the years. One of them is the wilderness guiding that you mentioned, and but I then started teaching. I started working in remote communities initially, and then in towns and cities of Australia. And also that's when I started working with people, or started working in organisations, and for a brief time in government. And what I what I experienced myself was just the level of stress that's possible within a workplace and within sort of managing the various demands of work and life and everything that life can bring. But I also saw it over and over again. I saw people just really having their lives unravel due to the stresses and the conflicts in work and at home and managing the whole thing. I particularly saw it with those people who were sort of the people who are really passionate about the world, who have like care about so much, who often have a lot of life energy and want to make a difference in the world. I saw that there was an extra level of stress there, which can come from trying to do so much or wanting to help or wanting to sort of who care about the environment or the world. And also those people that have some level of spiritual awareness or spiritual opening. It's the same thing. Like even though, certainly for me, and I know so many people, you know, to open spiritually is such a wondrous thing. It also brings a level of stress, or what can be seen as stress, because a lot you can be dealing with intense energies, and then to balance that with working in the world in sort of workplaces that aren't always conducive to the heart can be challenging. And so that's inspired me to work with people in the way I do and help people to move beyond stress and beyond the despair that can come with caring so much, and to bring their heart into, or through their heart, in both what they do in service in the world and how they contribute to the world, but also in their own lives, so that there's a sort of a unity, and there can be joy and peace in personal lives as well as the contribution that you make to the world. And that's it.
and brilliant, because you know, whatever that wake up call, that stress, that anxiety that goes on, that thing that happens, it has happened to so many of us. And
Yeah.
I think those people that are right at that beginning point, and they're looking at people like yourself and myself and so many other people and thinking, but you don't understand. Yes, we do, and we haven't lost touch with that. We are so aware of our story. We stay connected to it in respect of, so that we can help you to realize we do understand. There isn't sympathy within us, there's empathy within us, because we have been there. We've not known where to go, we've not known who to seek, we've not known anything about what to do, and we've had to do exactly what you're doing now. So we totally understand, and we know that you have to find what's totally right for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right, brilliant. Thank you so much. Right, folks, for those of you that would like to have music playing through the meditation, for those of you who watched this before, you know what I'm going to say, but for those of you who haven't, if you would like music playing, please will you sort your own music out, and I suggest you think about doing that now. Because we don't have copyright for any music, and we're not going to break copyright. We're not about breaking the rules here. We're about offering what we know we can send out and we can have on YouTube and you can watch, and there's not going to be any issues with anybody. So if you want to go and source some music, please do. Laura, would you like to just explain a little bit about the meditation, which for those of you that you can see it above if you're watching the YouTube video of the replay, you've had it in your emails. It's Beyond Stress, Self-Care in Challenging Times, and I'm assuming this is for ladies and gentlemen, this particular one. But Laura, if you just want to explain a little bit about it for us, please.
Yeah, so this is it's a simple practice or remembrance in the sense of it's about firstly it's about really just resting in or settling into where you are right now. There's such a power in that, and it's one of the things we can do when we're stressed or when we have challenging times is to try to kind of clench up and do more. and like if I just try harder or do this or do that, whereas in fact this is an invitation to actually stop and to just open up to whatever's happening right now and know that right now you're okay, you know. And then the next step is just connecting with the source of love through your heart and receiving that. So to do it, you just need to you've probably got a way to be comfortable anyway with your meditations, but I recommend sitting up or lying down if you want to. Sometimes sitting up can help you be more conscious of what's going on, but it's really totally up to what you're most comfortable with and how you'd like to do it. I suggest having a little blanket if you need it, to stay warm, and a space for maybe 15 minutes or so where you won't be interrupted. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Patty's just let us know that she's with us, and she's in Mexico. So wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Patty. Great to have you here. So I hope you heard all that. We're literally about to go into the meditation. So it's basically just make yourself relaxed and comfortable. And we'll let Lure guide us, because I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy this too. So Lure, over to you.
Thank you. Okay. So just take a moment to get comfortable and settle into the position that you want to be in for the meditation. And take a couple of deep breaths and just release, let go as you breathe out. And as you breathe out, just know that you're coming more and more into this moment. Letting go of all that you've been doing or all that's brought you here. And become aware of what you're feeling in your body. Just noticing where your feet, where they're touching the ground, if they are. And all the places the ground or the chair is touching your body. And where the air is meeting your skin. And where your clothes are touching your skin. And just notice what it is that you're feeling physically. Is there any tension in your body? Do some places feel more alive than others, some parts of your body? Are you experiencing discomfort or tension? And then bring your awareness to your emotions. And notice what you're feeling. This isn't about doing anything with them, but just bringing your awareness to it softly. As you continue breathing, just notice there's already space for all of this. There's already space for whatever it is that you're feeling. And as you breathe, just bring more love and gentleness to it with each breath. It's like when you breathe in, right at the turn of your breath, just let yourself soften a little bit more into what it is that you're experiencing. There's space for it all. Take a moment just to feel where you're sitting or lying on the ground. Just get a sense of the actual chair or whatever it is that you're on. But beyond that, the ground itself, the vastness of this planet and the earth. The very air that you breathe. Just feel that very support, the support for your very existence. And let your back just soften and relax just a little bit more. There's no need to hold yourself up. And then bringing your awareness to your heart at the center of your chest. And letting your heart turn like a flower turning towards the sun. Let your heart turn towards the source of love. And you may have a word for this. Some people use the word God or the divine or whatever it's meaningful for you. But for now, I'll call it the source of love. And let your heart, from your heart, start to call and ask the source for love. Ask to receive love directly into your heart. And if you have any tension or discomfort or emotions coming up, just let that be part of your calling. And bring that all up and call and ask to receive love. It's like you're drinking it in. There's room for it all. And if you're feeling uncertain or not quite sure, you could also ask for help in receiving this love. There's so much support. And call to love. You might just use that word. And when you do, calling out, whether you verbalize it or you say it from your heart, yourself sort of pause a moment and then receive. This is more about relationship than any process. Like asking and receiving and letting it move through your whole being, filling your heart, and letting the love move through your being. And through your body, through every cell of your body. And again, if there's any discomfort or pain, again, you can, knowing that there's space for it, then you can bring that into the calling out. We all need love. And we all have needs. And the first step in receiving this is to really feel that neediness in your heart. And receiving even more love. Letting it fill the space through and around your body. There's so much available. And then when you're ready, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do this week to care for myself just a little more? Maybe a whole lot more. While breathing in the love, just let that question sit with your heart and see what response comes. And if you're not sure, then you can ask for help in seeing it or recognizing what it is, listening to your heart. It might be just a sensation at first, a whisper, an intuition. And you can ask to be shown more, to see more. as you breathe in the love. And then when you're ready, bringing any just bringing any or becoming aware of with any gratitude you may be feeling. I always have my hand on my heart, but whatever feels good for you, just with any gratitude for what you've received. Knowing you can come back and you can reconnect and keep connection at any time. And start to become aware of your body again. And how your body's feeling. And your emotions. And all the places your body's touching the floor. All the places the air's touching your skin. And noticing how you feel now. And taking a few deep breaths. Start to gently move your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. Yes, it was lovely. I'm going to admit that my head at one stage very definitely crept in. And I think that's what we've all got to realise, is that sometimes the ego mind that creeps in to these things. And when you sort of said about being aware of the planet, and it was just like, yeah. And my head's immediate comment was, "You're insignificant." And it was just like, and the whole of me shouted, "No, no, you are not. You are special and you are very significant. You are very important." You know, no one is insignificant. Everyone is special. Everyone is important. And everyone has a gift to bring. That's why you're here. Sort of, there is something essential within everybody that makes up the whole of our life as it is. And you know, obviously people, if you're listening there, you want to share your experience of that, please do type in and let us know your experience. I appreciate that there are many out there who are very shy about doing things like that, and we will share Lure's email address and website address in the replay email and the website address under the YouTube video. You'll be able to contact her through the website anyway. So please do feel free to connect with her, to share with her if you want to, ask any questions. But Lure, your feeling on this thing that popped into my head, and the fact that I know that I'm not insignificant. There are those little times when it's just like, but me, why me? But your comment, because I know we've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a sort of I guess my comment is there's a sort of contradiction that sometimes, like, the truth of us is that we are insignificant. There is a truth in that, which is very different to feeling insignificant, in the sense of, like, what the process or that practice of, opening to the source of love or to the divine is, that sort of recognition that we have needs, it's like opening to the part of us that is that, really, but we don't always feel that. So it's often those things I find in spiritual or in life, really, is there's these contradictions. At one level there's often truth in it, but it's not the truth that sort of we're often running with our thoughts or our minds, and so the significance is that sense of humility is what I'm talking about, which is a very different thing to what I suspect you are. And it's also, I think, that through this simple process that we've just done of connecting and reconnecting and accessing, there's such an infinite power and infinite love and infinite... it's also where our unique, as you were saying, the unique gifts are. It's that sort of like what flavour of the divine or what flavour of that spark are we, and that is infinitely valuable and infinitely wondrous, yeah, so...
And I think really it's also us becoming aware and accepting that we are worthy of that love, that we are worthy of all the love that we give to others and so much more. Because of the way so many of us are brought up, it can't be about you, it's got to be about other people, you've got to give love to others to get it back. Actually, the first person that it is essential for you to love is yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love yourself, you can never truly love others, because you don't know what true love is. True love is about acceptance. True love is, yeah, that thought popped into my head. I don't have any anger to that. And maybe it was meant to, for those people that are here, for those people that watch this, to realize that, do you know what? I might be where I am. I might have this acceptance of how special I am, but I am no more special than anybody else. I accept I am special, but I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. As far as I'm concerned, everybody, if they chose to, could do what I am doing, could be here doing what I'm doing, bringing their special energies. This is why we share our experience of how we got here, to say we aren't any different to you. We all have those experiences. We all understand. We all know. And We know that we are love. We accept that love, but even we go back into that. Oh, that we get that. We don't totally manage to live in this special place that people think that only those of us that have attained a certain level. No, we're still having a human experience.
Mm.
Totally having that human experience.
Mm.
And we go to that place of that insecurity at times. We really, really do. So any comments on that? And then I will come back to sort of, Patty's just written something, but I haven't read it. But any comments on what I've just said, Lou? Do you want to, to take it a step further?
Yeah, look, just one extra thing. I noticed as soon as we were coming out that I hadn't done something in the meditation that I usually do. And that is, so it's a really interesting that this whole conversation is happening, because in leading into the meditation and we go through being, being aware of your body and aware of your emotions, the next step is to be aware of thoughts, aware of what the mind activity. And again, it's just acknowledging, like giving it a nod. Yeah, okay, that's what minds do. It's all working as it should, and just being aware of the whole. And so that's another step of like, oh, okay, it's that witness, isn't it? I'm having this thought. It doesn't have to mean any more than that necessarily. Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't think I've ever forgotten that step before. And yet it's led to this. So isn't that amazing? So.
But this is what I love about this. Sort of, it's all about that interaction. It's all about, and the universe, you may have forgotten it, but maybe that's because the universe wanted me to do this. Patty has said, thank you for a great meditation. For me, it was very special to feel myself part of everything. There were nothing else but that sensation. My ego went to sleep. Great. And any comments on what Patty's said?
It's just beautiful. Yeah, it's so lovely to hear that, and I love hearing people's experiences too, and us sharing it as well, because it just shows the unity of the heart. Like we're all the same. We're all when we come to it, it's that connection that we have. So thank you, Patty. Beautiful. Yeah.
And yes, thank you so much for sharing, Patty. It's always great when our viewers sort of share, because we are here for you. The meditations, the exercises, the programs, the interviews. It is all about people helping to connect to themselves, helping people to know what is out there. Not everything resonates with everybody, but then that's the joy. Of we have choice. But it is about helping people to choose to love themselves, choose to connect to themselves, choose to believe in themselves. Because when we love ourselves, we can bring that love out to everybody else, and we will make a better world, not just for ourselves, but for everybody else out there. Your thoughts on that, Laura?
Yeah. Look, I think that's so important, and it's been really big in my journey, because and still is. I'm practicing all this at the same time. And what I found at times, my biggest journey is that into the self-love and self-care as well, which is obviously why I know about it as well. And yeah, I found that even at times in different stages of, as you said in my bio, I've done quite a lot of different things. And I recognized at some point there was often a level of abnegation or something about the process itself, or the way I was approaching it, or perhaps, the environments I was doing it within. But I recognize it very much in me, so that there was a sense of almost like, wanting to change or transformation that was based on not being okay. And that's such a big shift for me, and it's actually sort of something I really would love to get across to people. Which is why I also do that first part of the meditation, and it's such a fundamental thing to recognize. Like everything is okay right now, and it's actually bringing that love and that acceptance into this moment, and that's such a big thing. And from there we can, of course, we're all unfolding, and how I see it, I guess, is becoming more and more of love, but yeah, so yeah, I guess I'm just agreeing very much so with you, that sense of self-acceptance in particular. And for me, it's that honouring of each step, honouring of where you are, honouring of, it's like if you plant a garden and, you've put the seeds in the ground and the seeds aren't flowering, what do? Like throw it out, beat it up, sort of course we don't, and even when the little seedlings are there, there's tender little shoots of a seedling. Again, what do you do with that? It's actually exactly where it needs to be, and so is it. It's the same with us. That at each stage, at each level of awareness of each. When I say level of awareness, I mean of each particular thing. Like all of a sudden, I might become aware of some aspect of myself that's coming up to consciousness, I guess, and it's a matter of welcoming that and sort of blessing it really as it comes up and honouring the process. I'm exactly where I need to be right now, and calling in love to that and to me and all of that. And from there I can take my next step. So I think it's that journey of self-compassion more than anything, and self-acceptance is just so powerful and so important. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we are so taught not to think about self, but actually, then, for want of a better way of putting it, the new teaching is do think about self, do be true to self. When you're true to self, you're actually being true to everybody around you, which is totally the reverse of how so many of us have been brought up. But
Yeah.
But the old way actually is holding everybody back. When you're doing too much for others, you can't do anything for yourself, and they're not doing anything for themselves. And so actually, the tough love, we call it tough love, the tough love is saying no. No, that's not right for me. And actually, because it is not right for me, and because I'm going to do what's right for me, I know, as hard as it may feel, that I'm actually doing the right thing for you by not doing anything. and that is when we are at our truest for love for people. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I am not saying you never do anything for anybody. Because of course you do. And there will be times when it's okay, family get-togethers, things like that. You do things that you probably may prefer not to. Yes, there are times. I'm not saying you never, but they are all aspects of life. Laura.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think one of the reasons in the work I do with people, which is about aligning with the heart, because there's a way where it's so common with so many people who are brought up in that way. Hands up, and also people. It's about the generous heart, wanting to help people and wanting to do so many things, and that's why I spoke in the introduction about also caring about so much in the world. We do have to choose. We can't do everything. And there's and there is so much we're aware of now with social media, with the media, with the internet. We're aware of things throughout the world in a way that not so long ago we would never have been. And so that's part of that cause of that distress that I mentioned earlier, and the possible despair or stress, overwhelm, that kind of thing. But there is a way, and that's why this sort of way that I work with people is along that line of actually coming back into your heart, nourishing your heart, coming sort of a sense of aligning, so that next step is aligned with your heart, which by almost definition is aligned to the greater. Knowing what is your one step, what is the one thing for you to do right now, knowing that it's impossible to do everything that you might like to have a Superman, Superwoman cape, flying around the world or whatever it is. What is the one thing? And so in that way, there's a way to know what that you truly need and want to do, and in a way to communicate that more lovingly. Like I don't know about you, Sarah, but I know at times when I've felt really pressed and stressed, and it's like sometimes I feel like I need to make a stand, and of course it's not received, because I'm struggling with this battle of I should but I can't, or I don't want to, or this kind of thing. Whereas that sense of coming into alignment with your heart and sort of aligning your work and your life, so that not only can you do the things that can contribute or make a difference, but also you can live a life that's actually nourishing and whole and full and has the beauty or whatever it is in it that you want. So you're honouring yourself and your service in that way.
Absolutely. Brilliant, Laura. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us this week. It is so much appreciated. Next week we have Sika Deer here, who's in New Zealand, and Sika's going to be sharing the sound journey experience. I had the pleasure of experiencing Sika's music here in the UK last year, and I am delighted to have him with us next week. So I hope you will be able to join us next week. Don't forget, you will receive a replay email that will also have the link to next week's program. Go to the website giftofhealingtv.com if you're watching this on YouTube, and you will find the link there. If you're watching this in the next week, otherwise you'll find the replay somewhere on YouTube or on the website. But thank you so much, Laura, for being with us. Any final words you'd like to share before we close?
Oh, look, just thank you so much. It's been such a joy to be here, and thank you to everyone that's come onto the call and that are listening. It's, very beautiful. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to have you on. Thank you for sharing. Folks, have a great week. I hope you'll join us again next week. In the meantime, love, peace, and light to you all. Namaste.